Brothers and sisters, welcome. Pro-life leader Frank Pavone here for my daily diary segment. What did I do on Monday, December 23rd, Tuesday the 24th, and Wednesday the 25th of December 2024? Obviously, the days before Christmas and Christmas Day itself. So on the 23rd, I started here at my office, and I had lots of desk work, and I had matters dealing with the following topics: preparations for broadcasts, an opinion piece for lifenews.com, data, communication with our data department, the governors being at the January prayer service, more communication in regard to that, communication with Newsmax about interviews, prayers for the government transition, we're writing that prayer booklet, and approval of e-blasts, and also the program for the prayer service that we lead on the day of the March for Life. I interacted with staff, greeted them in the morning, had our usual morning briefing, and then at 10:30 I had an interview here in the studio where I was interviewing one of the electors who voted for the president and vice president, of course, in that process that we have in our Constitution. And it's the first time we did an interview with an elector, and so that was a very, very educational interview, which I hope you saw. Then at 11:45, I was picked up by one of our volunteer drivers and brought to the Orlando airport. So doing some work in the car there and in the terminal, and then of course on the plane as I flew up to New York for the holiday weekend. So to be with my family up there in Westchester County. So I flew into White Plains Airport. Once I got there, it was pretty cold, especially compared to Florida. Then I went home to my mom's house, and I went to bed early. So that was the 23rd of December. Then Christmas Eve. So I got up nice and early. I love Christmas Eve, of course, as I'm sure most of you do. And I got up early because I had started the day with an early radio interview at 5:20 in the morning, and was happy to start the day in that way because, you know, as we celebrate the Christmas holidays, we like to have our private personal time, quiet, reflection, prayer, worship, family. But I really love the opportunity to share my Christmas thoughts and prayers with people like you on the airwaves. So I was very happy to start off with that 5:20 a.m. Radio interview. And then I had breakfast with my mom, and I went to the fish store. We have our usual fish dinner on Christmas Eve, and so I went to pick up our order there in the morning, as well as to pick up something for Mom, and then I came back. And then at 10:15 in the morning, I had a Newsmax interview. Now, some of these interviews were live, some of them were pre-taped for later on in the day. And then I had time with Mom, and also getting preparations ready in the house for our Christmas Eve dinner. At 12:30 p.m., I had another Newsmax interview on Christmas Eve day. After that was done, we were able to begin watching the midnight mass from the Vatican, which wasn't at midnight, it was more like 7 p.m. Rome time. But we always like to see how that goes. And meanwhile, we were preparing the food and the house for our evening celebration. And then we had that celebration. So we had we had my brother over, my cousin, and we had our traditional Christmas Eve dinner. So I did a lot of the cooking, helped. My mom was able to help somewhat, but I did a lot of that cooking in preparation for that. After the Christmas Eve dinner, we enjoyed the spirit of the evening. And then at 8:45 p.m. on Christmas Eve, I had another Newsmax interview. That was a live one, and I did that. And then what I like to do on Christmas Eve is open all the Christmas cards that have come in during the Advent season. And I do that while watching the Mass that comes from Washington, D.C., the Basilica Shrine of the Immaculate Conception. They always have a very nice Christmas Eve Mass. So I watch that, and as in a prayerful, joyful experience, read all the greetings of the Christmas cards, and Usually that takes me right up to the time of the St. Patrick's Cathedral Midnight Mass, which is also televised and which I like to watch as well. But then by the time that was over, I was falling asleep. So that was Christmas Eve. Christmas morning. Greeted the morning early. I always like to watch the blessing that the Pope gives to the city and to the world, as it's called. That comes on at 6 a.m. Eastern time. So I was up to watch that. And by the way, I had just at certain times on Christmas Eve, I had to get to my laptop for some communication with pro-life leaders. The Gateway Pundit requested an article from me with Christmas thoughts and reflections, so I quickly put that together on Christmas Eve. And then, of course, communication with Newsmax about these various interviews. But then going back to Christmas Day, after seeing the Pope give his blessing, I went to Mass there at my local home parish, early Mass on Christmas morning. Came back and then, of course, was with Mom and exchanged some gifts and just enjoyed the Christmas morning in a prayerful, joyful way, and seeing the special broadcasts that were on and getting ready to go then to our Christmas Day dinner, which we had not at home but over at my cousin's house. And so we got everything ready to go over there, and we did so, and we had an early afternoon Christmas meal, or I should say mid-afternoon Christmas meal there. We had that, then I had to just quickly come back to my mom's house for a 5:45 p.m. Newsmax interview about the meaning of Christmas. Did that live interview, then went back to my cousin's for some dessert, and then that was the conclusion of the day. I was pretty tired after that. So there it was, the special celebrations that we all experienced for Christmas. That's what I did on the 23rd, 24th, and 25th of December 2024. I hope you had a blessed and joyful Christmas as well. We'll talk to you soon.
Hello, I'm Evangelist Alveda King. Our team at Priest for Life produces many books, pamphlets, audio and video presentations, and other resources to help you protect the unborn. I invite you today to visit our online store at prolifeproducts.org and see the many helpful resources you can get for yourself, your pro-life group, and your church. God bless you.